Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Billy Keels, and I hope you're doing very well. I just realized I did not turn headphones on, and I need to do that. Boom! So that's probably much better now. I forgot to do that. Completely being human, I guess. That's one of these things that happens being a normal person. Thought I had everything kind of ready, but I guess not. So anyway, today, let's see, it's Saturday. I am going to be attempting this evening to make fajitas or fajitas, depending on where you're from. But anyway, I hope everyone, when you are joining, as you join in, you can just type your name, make sure you can hear me, say hello, who you are, where you live. And you guys know I love that little flag. So if you can put that in and share with everybody, it's been great. Over the last couple of days, had people like Juliet here from the U.S. and Cheryl, who was a top fan superstar from Canada. Shebin's here recently a lot as well from Spain. So once you are here and you're checking in, just say hello. And I really appreciate that. And everybody in the community appreciates you being here, your comments, questions. But today I wanted to I felt like I needed to share something. So if you're not normally watching, like today, there's going to be a kind of maybe an edge that you're not used to, a difficult question that just pierced through my heart, actually, that I'm going to share with you in just a little bit. But the thing is, today I really do want to talk to you about how to get answers to difficult questions and still be able to maintain the relationship, right? I think a lot of times when we want to ask difficult questions, it makes us feel uncomfortable. We think a lot of things are things are gonna happen, but I want to be able to talk about that and really being able to focus on how you can do that. But before we get started, I just want to remind those of you who've been getting a lot of questions lately over the last couple of weeks, which has actually been kind of cool. For those of you that are interested in understanding how a guy like me who is working a W-2 or a day job, a 9 to 5, whatever, here in Europe, pretty complex, demanding, and at the same time building a portfolio of cash flowing assets, which helps really personify the live where you want and invest where it makes sense. If you want to understand how I've been doing that, feel free to just click on the link, or if anybody can type it in the link, because usually it's easier when it's like in the feed kind of thing. If you could type in keeponcashflow.com/roadmap, I would really, really appreciate that. And someone else in the community would appreciate it too, so you can pick up your ebook. But anyway, so when it comes to like actually being able to get answers to difficult questions, I understand and recognize, I've heard, that we need to be able to figure out what's the formula to be able to do that. But one of the big things that holds people back is trying to figure out, like, how do I actually do it? What's the best way to go out there and do that, right? And I get that question like all the time. Like, and I understand that there's a lot of different fears that can say, hey, listen, if I ask this question, are they going to perceive me as infringing on their space, or are they going to think that I'm just being self-centered? Are they not going to trust me? Did I ask the question in the wrong way? And all that kind of stuff. Like, I get that, because those fears and concerns are completely legitimate. But here's the point. Like, if you don't ask the question, you're not going to get the answer. And the person that you're talking to on the other side, and whether that's and I'm always thinking of, well, not always, but a lot of times I'm thinking in the context of my day job, when I'm sitting in front of a customer, or when I'm sitting with one of my potential investors in real estate, or I'm sitting with someone that I'm coaching. If you're not used to dealing with those feelings that are happening here in your gut, sometimes here in the heart, it can be a bit difficult. So it's one of those things, and it's just actually, I want to share a story with you, but before I do that, I just want to say hi to a couple people. I see Brian is here. Thanks for joining, Brian. It's great. It looks like somebody else has joined, although I cannot see. I just wanted to just say, hey, Shevin's back. Okay, cool. So thanks to the two of you for joining in, taking time out of your day to stay here with me for a bit. But actually, let me just say this also too, because I know you are understanding and interested. So for those of you who want to understand how a guy like me who's working a normal W-2 day job or 9 to 5, and at the same time building a real estate portfolio, just want to invite you, go ahead and click in the link, or if somebody wants to type that in for me, keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. I will make sure that you get the ebook that talks about exactly the step-by-step process that I have actually taken to be able to do both things. So, but let me come back and just let me come back to what I was talking to, because I think it's an interesting story that I want to share with you about how you can go about asking difficult questions and still maintain the relationship, right? I can think back to actually one of my very first investors, one of the early days when I was just getting started. I mean, there have been a number of people that had asked to invest with me, and I'd always been taught you don't mix friends and money. And because I'd been taught that way, that was just the thing that I always said, no, no, no. And so there were a couple different people that were talking to me. And so, like I said, one of the first people that eventually ended up being one of my very first investors, we were talking about, making an investment in one of the projects. And we're talking about, it was like $100,000. And so as we're talking about this, it was, and I'll always remember this because it was the way that the person formulated the question that just thought, wow, I was on the receiving end of the question, but it's something that's always stayed with me. And the thing is, it was, a question, and it was really simple. It was, hey, would you be open to me asking you a question? And so when I got, well, yeah, sure, I'd be. And this is the thing that just kind of pierced through my heart, right? The question was, so Billy, what happens if you pass away? Like, what happens to my money when you pass away, or if you pass away? Wow. You know what? I thought, man, it actually, boom, as the receiver of that question, like on the receiving end of that question, I felt, number one, well, I felt comfortable to have the person ask the question, because they prefaced it in the right way. And then when they asked the question, I mean, it was something that was legitimate for a potential investor, right? And so the way that it was open to me and the way that the question was presented, it was just like, wow, the person on the other end got the response. I realized that I had to do some homework kind of at that point in time, because it was still early on. But the relationship was maintained because it was done in such a way that I understood that the person had, they were looking for clarity. And the fact that they were looking for clarity, I was like, wow, you know what? How can I not respond to that? Like, this was early on in the days. And at that time, I didn't actually have a response. So it made it a little bit uncomfortable, but I never felt like the relationship was in a difficult place, nor did I feel like the person was trying to attack me. So like all those fears and stuff that people normally have, if you're doing it from a place of really trying to understand and really trying to clarify, then there should be no challenge on the sending end nor on the receiving end. So, I think just by sharing that story, I wanted to kind of let you know, like, there are ways to go out and ask difficult questions, like, what happens if you die? I mean, that's the question, right? And still, even though that I'm sure was kind of a difficult question for the person to ask, I received it, message sent, message received, and the relationship was absolutely maintained. So, anyway, so I just thought I'd share that with you. And like I mentioned to you before, I mean, a lot of you are interested, aside from being able to ask difficult questions and getting the answers and keeping the relationship, what is it that you can be doing to also have more control over your life and your finances, enjoy what you're doing during the day, and the same thing, enjoy what you're doing outside. If you're interested in knowing more, kind of like the step-by-step process that I've used to be able to do both, focused on real estate, feel free to pick up the free ebook. It's at keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. Like I said, if anybody wants to type that in, I would really appreciate it. So listen, also too, if anybody has any questions about this or about this thing, about asking difficult questions and maintaining the relationship, anything around real estate, sales, team building, leadership, feel free to ask the questions here wherever you want. I'm getting better at this. Just do it there or down there. So listen, so I appreciate, like I said, those of you who joined the session, those of you that are going to be watching on the replay. If you are, you can also say hashtag replay just to let me know you are there and watching. I appreciate that. And like I said, don't worry about asking the difficult questions. Sometimes you may not get it right the first couple of times, but that's okay. As long as you're looking to clarify and you're doing it in a way that is going to be helpful, because you're going to get the response that you need, and the person on the other end is going to either have the answer or going to have to do some work to get the answer for you. That's the whole thing. So like I said, everybody, feel free to leave your comments, questions. I'm here to answer them. And listen, this is my 2 cents for today. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I guess we will talk soon. Hasta la próxima.